system, and they were already on fumes.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. We will call this the November 6th Tippecanoe Drainage Board meeting to order. First up on the agenda is, unfortunately, the passing of a dear friend who had been with us for many, many years in this board. So I would like to offer a moment of silence for Mr. Spencer. Thank you. First up, we have our minutes.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes from our October 2nd, 2024 meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes. Projects, True Hotel Edition, T-Bird Design. Anybody here from T-Bird? You need to hit the button there, right in the middle of the microphone. There you go. Thank you.
I wasn't sure if you guys were going to give a presentation today or not. My name is Patrick Williams, T-Bird Design, 105 North 10th. Good morning and congratulations, Mr. Murtaugh, Mr. Byers, Mr. Beasley. True Hotel Edition, it's located just off of Progress Drive, basically at the existing Doubletree Hotel site. It's southwest quadrant of the intersection among South Street and I-65. The proposed project is a building addition to the existing Doubletree. In general, the scope of the project is removing what is now existing asphalt pavement and putting a new hotel building on that. So on the site itself, essentially the amount of impervious surface is not expected to increase. That particular project is in the city of Lafayette, but it's also within the Alexander Ross regulated drain watershed, which is why we're here today. We have asked for an exemption for the bulk of the improvements on the project just because the amount of impervious surface qualifies for that exemption from a detention standpoint. However, we are also asking for a variance for a portion of the project. It's not shown on here, but a portion of the project is to construct approximately 15,000 square feet of temporary parking lot on the vacant land to the south. So basically some of the vacant land, the agricultural land, will be replaced with, a temporary parking lot. The reason we're asking for that variance to provide stormwater detention fees for the AROS Regional Detention Facility is because we expect in the near future there will be a larger development of another hotel on that vacant land. Both properties, the Doubletree and that vacant land, are owned by my client, and it is their intent to build another hotel. We're just asking for those detention fees to be deferred until that larger development for the hotel is complete, at which time obviously we'll come back and request approval for that project. And basically that's the summary of the project. Again, we're asking for an exemption for the improvements on the Doubletree site due to the negligible amount of increase in impervious surface, and a variance to defer stormwater detention fees into the AROS for the temporary parking facility south of the subject site on the existing vacant ground.
Okay.
If you have any questions.
Thank you. Zach, any comment?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Pat. I just want to point out real quick, as Pat said, this is inside the city of Lafayette, city limits, so the city will be reviewing the internal workings of the site, but they're here in regards to the AROS, County Regulated Drain Watershed, and the discharge. One point, Pat did a good job of explaining everything, but for the meeting minutes, I would like to make sure that the word variance is not used, because we're wordsmithing a little bit, but they're not asking for a waiver from any requirements in the ordinance. They're only asking to defer their requirements to the next phase. And so I would prefer we don't use the word variance. Deferment is what is actually and truly going on. I have met with Pat and other representatives with the consultant and the owner. They are fully intending on complying with the ordinance and the stormwater drainage fees for regional detention in the next phase of this project. So I wanted to clarify that for the meeting minutes. Other than that, I'm ready to recommend approval as presented and happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
Yeah, just real quick, Zach, on the deferment, would I be correct in suggesting that, if the next phase didn't come along in a timely fashion, that you would reserve the right to seek payment of the fees on the original phase?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
So is that something we should be voting on separately from the project itself?
I don't think so. It's in the
Okay.
minutes, and you
Okay.
talk about deferment, and I think everybody kind of understands what the plan is, but if the wheels fell off and this just never moved forward, I wouldn't want you to have locked yourself out of
Yeah.
the fees on what was constructed.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I would move that we grant construction approval as outlined in the Burke memo dated October 9th, 2024.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for construction approval with the understanding of deferring the payments until due time. All in favor say aye. Opposed? That passes. Okay, Avita Multifamily, American Structure Point.
Good morning, gentlemen. Eric Wickstrom with American Structure Point. Aviata Multifamily will be a four-building apartment complex with a clubhouse located along Yeager Road, just outside of the Lafayette city limits, so this will be under Tippecanoe County jurisdiction. At this time, we're requesting approval for construction as well as approval of our petition for vacating the legal drain that flows through the property so we can actually conduct our construction activities. As part of that vacation, we will be providing a drainage and access easement throughout our site, so that way the county can maintain control of the flow of water through the site.
Okay. Zach, any comments?
Yeah, just real quickly, I have met with the designers several times on this project. They've been doing a great job. I do want to point out quickly that he did mention the easement. We did work on that. The big item on this project is the forthcoming county road project that will border this site on the north, which it's shown here on the screen, roughly on the north side of the property in this general area where the red dot is on the screen. And so they are designing this to where when the road, well, they're designing it so that their site can go ahead and drain in the interim before the road is constructed, and once the road is constructed, the water will be picked up and transported as far as the road is concerned. So I just wanted to point out the timing of that. But other than that, I'm happy to recommend approval as presented. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? Entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion. We grant construction approval for the Aviata multifamily project based on the Burke memo dated October 25th of 24.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
And then the petition, yeah. They also have a petition to partially vacate a portion of the Simeon Yeager County regulated drain. We have reviewed it. I'm happy to recommend approval as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve this petition. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Once again, thank you.
5K Farms minor subdivision. Chastain Associates.
Good
Good morning, gentlemen. Kyle Betts, Chastain Associates, 625 South Earl. I am here representing 5K Farms minor subdivision. This is going to be it's technically two minor subdivisions that are kind of conjoined, so it's going to be a total of 8 lots and 1 outlot located on a 30-acre parcel that is just west of County Road 100 West and about a quarter-mile north of 800 North. The property is currently all agricultural farm field. The plan is to convert it into 8 residential lots and 1 outlot. The outlot covers an area that is in the southeast corner, which is delineated wetland. Thank you, Zach. So the light hatching in the southeast corner is a delineated wetland. So the project is going to have an outlot that covers the majority of that wetland as well as an easement protecting it as well. The drainage plan is fairly simple. It's primarily just a conversion of existing row crops to grass and turf, which is going to reduce our overall runoff below the pre-existing cropland runoff. Therefore, we're essentially asking for an exemption, under the terms of the ordinance, as we won't be providing any on-site detention or anything. All site water leaves through that wetland as well. That is the outlet point for the property. I think that kind of covers it. We've read through the conditional approval, happy with all the conditions there, and would request your final approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Zach?
Yes, thank you, Kyle. For the board and for the meeting minutes and the general public, I do want to walk through a couple things here. First and foremost, there was a design submitted by a different consulting company a few years ago, approximately 5, give or take
Yes,
a year or two.
2017.
I'm sorry.
2017.
2017, thank you,
Yeah.
Kyle. So approximately 7 years ago. The reason why I bring that up is so we have a clear understanding of what has happened on this site and then what is being proposed today for any upstream or downstream landowners or anyone else who may want to know, and for the board's benefit, obviously. But I do want to point out, number one, it was submitted originally by someone else in 2017. That design had a very similar, if not exactly the same number of lots, 8 lots. And
Yeah.
in the wetland area that Kyle astutely pointed out a few moments ago, and I'm outlining with the red pointer, they had proposed an infiltration basin inside that wetland area for whatever reason. And it had went through, I think, 1 review process through my office, and I believe Christopher Burke Engineering had done the initial review. For whatever reason, that project at the time was tabled. We never received another submittal, and then a few weeks ago, Chastain Associates submitted a design basically eliminating the infiltration basin and showing and providing drainage calculations that basically with the drainage calculations that they submitted to my office, they were able to show that by taking the property from row crop production, which it has historically been in, and converting those 8 lots into grass yards for residential houses, that they were, the 100-year runoff went from approximately 80 cubic feet per second down to approximately 42, 43 cubic feet per second. So basically reducing the runoff by half to this particular wetland area. I bring that up because, number one, they certainly, by the drainage calculations that they provided, they certainly scientifically and mathematically show within the confines of our ordinance that they meet the detention exemptions per the Tippecanoe County Stormwater Drainage Ordinance, number one. Number two, I want to point out that by reducing that 100-year runoff by basically half, which I just stated, the amount of water getting to this wetland area will be greatly reduced moving forward, which means that the folks, the adjoining landowners here to the south will see a reduction of flooding in this depressional storage area, wetland area. And so they should see it as a benefit, is what I'm trying to say. And they certainly meet the criteria within the ordinance. So with that said, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'd recommend approval as presented.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I'm happy to provide additional information if you want more on the wetland situation.
Any questions from the board?
And so, Zach, you're saying your office has heard issues with drainage issues along that southern border there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can at least share that that southeast corner of the wetland, it is a depressional area. Our map doesn't go quite far enough south, but the breakout is along the driveway that goes back. You can see on the very south end there's a house there. And the breakout for this area, yeah, that's a little better. So the area that we have marked as a wetland, as well as much of that northeast corner of the parcel south of us, that's sort of hemmed in by the drives there, that's all depressional area as well.
So that's a wetland as well?
Yes,
Essentially.
most likely.
Yeah.
Our delineation started at our property line and went north. I mean, you can see from the photo there what parts of the property are farmed. Much of the wetland is currently farmed. It really just depends on the seasonal, water flow and stuff. If it's a wet season, they don't get as much yield out of it. If it's dry, they farm right up to the property line. But yes, the depressional area there covers down to that drive. This should reduce some of that potential for ponding in
So
that
when you say
area.
breakout, does that mean, does it eventually flow to this other pond
right here.
on the far right?
Yeah, somewhere through there is where the water breaks out and goes to the south. And yes, it goes into that wooded area that
Right.
is, yeah.
Right here. Yep.
Yep. That's exactly right.
So is that area floodplain then?
No. No, then Kyle did a good job explaining it. Let me highlight a couple things he didn't say. So so first of all, so everyone understands the line work on the screen. The red line in the top right-hand corner of your screen
That's
represents a branch of the Andrew Brown County Regulated Drain. That is a
Yeah.
subsurface clay tile and concrete tile, about 3.5 foot below below the ground level, the surface of the dirt. It drains to the east under the interstate. It was originally constructed to service this depressional area for agricultural use. It's been there for 100+ years. The watershed boundary between these two county regulated drain watersheds, the next one I'll point out in a moment, basically runs, if my pointer would continue to work, comes through this area. If you can kind of follow my pointer here, generally through here, okay? And this second red line in the left half of the screen here is the Anson County Regulated Drain. It is also a clay concrete subsurface tile, 2-foot butt joint section, old clay concrete tile that was put in for agricultural purposes. It drains to the south, so the water's flowing to the south in this location. As Kyle pointed out, this depressional area, wetland that is here on their property, also extends to the south onto the neighboring property and has for decades and decades, long before anybody built houses here in this area. The breakout, the natural breakout location for this depressional storage area, so and Kyle, I don't know if you can answer this or not, because I don't know if you guys went to this level, but at some point in time, more than likely above the 100-year storm event, the breakout location of this, because no matter what depressional area you have, if you fill it up full of enough water, it's going to break out somewhere, right? Well, the breakout location for this particular wetland, as Kyle was talking about, comes basically west of the McGrew family home here and goes across the driveway and goes to the southwest into this wetland area here. So I just kind of wanted to point that all out. Kyle, any clarifications or?
We haven't run a level loop up and down every road out there. I'll tell you, I think when they put that drive in, historically,
Yes.
the overland route was definitely that path you showed.
Right.
The breakout elevation is within a couple tenths between that drive and County Road 100 West right now.
Okay.
And we haven't run a level, so
Okay.
I don't know. It's possible it actually breaks out over 100 now, because when they put that drive in, I think
They
they
raised
raised
it
it up a
Okay.
little bit and probably made the situation a little more worse.
Sure.
You know, created a potential for more ponding, but
So,
that's a situation, yes.
I will say one thing, point of clarification. I agree with what Kyle just said, but I'll point out one thing. When this came to my office originally, we did take ground elevations across there, and it was at that time. And that is the time frame I'm speaking, which
Sure.
Kyle did very well point out. They could have raised the driveway since 7 years ago when I looked at this, so
Yeah.
thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
But the historical natural breakout was here, as we've been speaking about. But as Kyle said, they may have filled this or raised the driveway up, and it could break out this direction now. Nonetheless, that is the story of what's going on. This project complies with our county ordinance. And like I said, I just wanted to give the history in case anybody wanted to know anything. But that is the history, the story. They are in compliance with the ordinance. So again, I'd recommend approval.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. President, I would move that we grant conditional approval as outlined in the Burke memo dated November 1, 2024.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
All right, we have another petition for encroachment on the Audubon Ditch.
Yes, received a petition to encroach from CenterPoint Energy. It's for a gas main project on the Audubon County Regulated Drain. They're crossing underneath the county Audubon Regulated Drain open ditch immediately on the north side of US 52 in the northwest part of Tippecanoe County. I have reviewed the petition, and I'd recommend approval as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve this petition. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. We also have a bond.
Yes, bond number 1111718 for Chesapeake Point Phase 1 in the amount of $54,088.80 from Atlas Excavating, and recommend approval as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the bond. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Anything else there?
And then a quick question for Mrs. Wood. Was there another petition, Tara? I didn't see it laying here. You did?
Oh, the one we're not signing.
Yeah.
The one we're not signing. It's on up here, but I don't, you may not have.
Yeah, I don't think it was here. So what Taylor is looking for this petition, we had one come in, that's not it.
Yeah, that's the
No.
only two we have.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought there was a third one that you had mentioned to me.
No.
Okay, very well, then that's all the business I have for today.
Okay. Public comment. Anybody?